Hey yo guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're celebrating 20 years of From Mars to Sirius by Gojira. So this is our third time reviewing Gojira on the channel. We did L'Enfant Sauvage, which was a Check This Out album.
Yep. Got
2 toe tags. Then we reviewed Fortitude when it came out. It was a half point off of 2 toe tags. I gave it a 7.5. T-Fish gave it a toe tag. And now as part of our anniversary series, we're covering them again. 20 years this album's been out.
To the day.
To the day. Yeah, we're actually landing on the day for this review. And I gotta say, as somebody who got into Gojira late because of TV Fish, I did go back and listen to this album. This is a while ago, back when we were listening to the other albums and stuff. I went back and listened to this album and I really liked it. And I thought, this is a solid album. I didn't remember much from it. I listened to it a few times. So I was kind of eager to review it, like eager to jump in and take a deep dive and play it for a full week like we do. And I gotta say that it did not disappoint. This album's just full of fun stuff, and I just have to compliment the guitaring because the guitars on this album are just so fun. There's just so much cool stuff happening. And just to give some examples, stuff like the second song, Backbone, which is just such a sick song to begin with. You have these riffs that are almost slam riffs, and then they go into like tremolo riffs, and it's just a small example of something that you're hearing something and you're going, okay, that's pretty cool, and then it changes into something else. You're like, well, that's also cool. These guys know how to do cool stuff, and it just continues on from there. The next song, From the Sky, you got pick slides. Love that. These things are things that make these songs memorable. They make them stand out. For me anyway, they make my ears perk up, and I sit there and go, wow, that was really cool. I like this the way that sounds, and I want to hear more of it. Mm-hmm. Then you keep going, Where Dragons Dwell, just sick riffs on this song. Just love these riffs. I like, I'm just gonna mention, obviously, drums are a big part of this band as well.
Oh yeah.
And you have the drums, I find, and the guitars complement each other so well. And they really, really play off each other, and they really accent each other in really cool ways. And I think Where Dragons Dwell is a really cool example of where that's happening. And you got riffs with pinches at the end. They do that kind of stuff a lot, but it doesn't sound regurgitated. I guess you hear it a lot throughout the album, and they kind of do it a lot, but it feels like they're doing it in different ways a lot. You have trills in certain songs. You have tapping. Right? So if you get to the last song, Global Warming, it starts with a tapping riff, and it just rings out, and it just sounds so fucking good.
They vamp on that for a while.
They vamp on it for a while, and that's something that this band does a lot too, and that's something that I thought might start getting annoying through the week, where they just kind of vamp on the same kind of beat or the same groove, you could say, for several bars and for minutes at a time sometimes. Yeah. And, I think for a lot of bands, that would get old, that would get annoying, but Gojira does it in a way that it just doesn't.
No.
I feel like it feels good.
It's the kind of thing where you just need the right riff or the right idea. So In the Wilderness is a good example of that. The second half is just them vamping, but I love it. Every single time. I love that riff and that they just go for it for minutes. The second half of the song is just that.
Well, the beautiful thing about that too is they vamp on the riff, but then they have Mario doing drum fills in between.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a different one every time. And that just makes it so juicy because you got something cool to look forward to each time. But then you have songs like Unicorn, which is just a little over 2 minutes long, basically an interlude, and it's just them vamping this.
It's just this chill thing.
Beautiful chill thing. And you got some whale sound sampled in the background. And, that's one song that at the beginning of the week I was going to be like, I don't know how this is going to last for me, but didn't get bored of it. Actually quite enjoyed it. It's peaceful. It's serene. It has a positivity to it.
It's placed very well on this album because there's a lot of intense stuff. So to be right after From the Sky to bridge that and Where Dragons Dwell, I think is really good placement for that. I think the album has a really good pacing, especially for an album that has a lot of vamp stuff and a lot of that intensity. They actually do play around with the pace well enough to give you a good contour, like in the phase of that.
For sure, and the tracks play off each other too because, like I said, you have Unicorn, which has that whale sample in it. That actually comes back later on in Flying Whales. You have more whale sounds in there, and that's kind of a theme throughout the album. And I like the fact that they have that level of consistency as well.
And Flying Whales in particular, that's the Gojira song. I would argue that's one of their most popular songs.
Yeah.
Most well known.
I mean, it's understandable why too, because the song it has really cool setup. I like how the introduction has this riff just playing independently. The drum groove kicks in. After a few bars, the bass kicks in, and just Mario's drumming is just amazing on this song. The song basically changes about halfway through, and the riffs just get more distorted and more aggressive. The vocals come in. Joe's doing more of a guttural type of voice.
Yeah.
With his, vocals.
I'd love to see those come back. I know Joe said that the next album's going to be a bit more on the death metal side, so I really hope that's what that implies.
Yeah, and speaking of that too, there's actually a good variety of vocals on here because he does this kind of like standard straight, I don't know what kind of vocal to call it, but his average voice. But then he has kind of like a talking, like a spoken word kind of voice, where he like really wants to hammer home a point. And then he has this like guttural. It's not like corpse grinder guttural, but it's in that realm where it's just kind of a lot meatier, a lot grittier.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I like when it comes out and these things are kind of done in very tasteful ways and put at tasteful times on the album. And I think that was really genius the way they implemented that.
Yeah, and it's a thing that if you're listening to Gojira like today and their newer stuff, you don't really get that perspective much because the elements of that are in this album aren't really in their current day present sound. So it's interesting, like we go from Fortitude to this, you can see how different the band was, in that gap of about 20 or so years.
It's been a while since I've listened to Fortitude, to be honest, so I'd have to refresh myself on it.
Yeah, I mean, not to say that Fortitude is like a complete departure. It was actually more of a return to something more like this after Magma. But I found that Gojira fans usually, their favorite album is one of three, and this is one of them. It's either basically this or the two that come after. So it's either this, The Way of All Flesh, or L'Enfant Sauvage.
Yeah.
Usually Gojira fans, one of those three is their favorite.
Yeah, that's the trio.
Basically, like they hit this ridiculous trilogy between these three albums.
When people talk about 3-album stretch, this is when you kind of hear a lot of people interjecting their opinion about this 3-album stretch right here.
Understandably so.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe at some point we can review The Way of All Flesh as well. We got 2 of the 3.
You never know. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
So this record has a really, really good stretch for me, starting from the Sky through like In the Wilderness. Maybe even include Backbone in that. Like that stretch has really, really cool song after cool song. Now, this is not my favorite Gojira album. I'd say for me, it's more so either Way of All Flesh or L'Enfant Sauvage, those albums. But there's still a lot of really, really cool stuff on here. And I feel like a lot of the best songs, you kind of mentioned a few already, have stuff that really grab you. And the fact that this band, who vamps as much as they do, can still do that and still even have sick vamping sections that last for minutes at a time to end a song is really, really impressive. The Heaviest Matter of the Universe. This song and the weird figure that it plays is in 4/4. Though, when I was first kind of trying to count it, I counted it in a completely different way, which is kind of cool that you can kind of count different ways to get in different places, right? So it's like, you got this, riff and this idea that's in 4 that kind of goes over the bar line, weirdly.
Yeah.
But when I was counting it, I'm like, okay, it kind of sounds like an alternating 9/8 and 7/8, and then a few bars of 3/8, which numerically is equivalent.
It works.
You can count it like that, but it is in 4. And what also helps, and a lot of progressive bands will do this, is they'll introduce this idea that sounds syncopated and weird. What are they doing there? And then they'll basically, with the percussion, have a grounding kind of groove or idea or something that actually kind of shows you where it is. So they do this intro to the song that sounds like whatever because Mario is playing with the riff, and then Mario's just playing a groove after the intro's done.
Separate from the riff?
Separate from the riff, which basically gives you the rhythmic context. A lot of progressive bands will do that. And
so
that's an example.
Is this a polymeter? Like, is the riff playing a different time signature than... I never really studied it, so...
No, it's more so like, you got this figure, the concept that is the intro, and the whole band is playing it together. And then once the intro's done, now Mario is just playing a regular groove while the band is still playing this thing, but it's all in 4. It just sounds a lot more... It feels like it makes more sense when you can hear the drums counting 4 for you.
Yeah.
So then a lot of bands will do that. And a lot of bands will either do that or they'll do something like what Meshuggah would do and they'll play some ridiculous weird thing that sounds like, what the heck are they doing? But it's actually in 4, and then Tolnas is using his right hand on the China or whatever, and you can hear him on downbeats there, and that kind of
grounding the whole song.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's an example of that. So it's like, if it's like, whoa, what is this intro? It's like, just wait for the intro to finish, and then you'll hear the context of like, oh, that's what's happening there. So yeah, it's a weird thing of going over the bar line. Like, they do the whole thing in triplets, and then the first shots of da da is downbeat of 4 and then 1. Yeah. Which kind of mixes you up, right?
It does. It sounds like a bit awkward hearing it. Especially, I don't, like, sometimes I'll listen to music and I'll focus on counting and I'll try to count music, but most of the time I just listen to it just without worrying about that stuff, and I'll let TV Fish bring it up. and then I'm like, oh yeah, you make a good point.
There's that. It's still a sick song. I really, really, really like it. And the fact that there's really cool depth in just the intro alone is super duper awesome. But, and I feel like the way that I feel towards this song is similar that I feel for From the Sky, which might be my favorite song on the record. The intensity, the way he belts From the Sky in the chorus, that whole song always kicks ass every single time I've heard it. I've always loved this song, and I feel like I can make similar comments regarding Heaviest Matter to that. Like, I can say the same things about it pretty much, which are awesome. Now, Flying Whales, awesome song. I think what might make it more, what might have kind of contributed to its popularity is, I guess, the accessibility of it being maybe a bit of a slower paced song for the most part. The intro is really, really cool, and I like the atmosphere it brings. Stuff like that might not be for everyone, but I think this band does it effectively, and I think, it's one of their, if not their most popular song for a reason. So I think that is, a really, really cool and effective thing. I guess one other small thing I'll mention, like song-wise, is that it's cool that there's like a blast beat section in Backbone, and then the double kick section with the riff that happens around it, it's even cooler. Like, there's just blistering stuff, and that you find that a lot on this record. It's a lot more straightforward overall. Yeah. When you hear some of their other stuff, they got like a lot more going on. A lot of this one is just like, let's go.
I really like that too. Like, I love blast beats. Like, obviously, a lot of metalheads love blast beats. Yeah. And, when I first started really liking blast beats, it was just like I wanted blast beats through the whole song, and that was awesome to me. But as I kind of, I guess, got older, my taste changed or whatever, I really like them just put in more like strategic spots. Yeah. And this is a good example of that, because there's blast beats all over this album, but you wouldn't listen to this and go, oh, this is a blast beat album, or this is, anything like that. But they're there. They're on several songs in several different parts, and they're just at the right spots. And I really like that. Mario really knows what he's doing. Like, oh yeah, he's a lot of people's favorite drummer for a reason, and I think he's probably underrepresented in talks about best drummers a lot of the time, to be honest, because he just does a lot of really cool stuff, and I think it just goes underappreciated to a lot of people.
His intensity is fantastic, but it's also ridiculous that he's able to do that kind of thing and also interject a lot of technical stuff, a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of really difficult stuff.
That's what I'm saying, and it sounds so effortless.
Yeah.
It almost, when you can listen to music and it doesn't sound technical, but it is, that's almost more impressive.
Yeah, because then you don't realize.
It's executed to such perfection and so seamless that you don't even notice it a lot of the time.
And that's not exclusive to this album either. There's stuff on Fortitude that's like that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Just as a drummer, as a whole, like, he stands out. And you can hear it on this album. You can hear it throughout their whole discography, but I think it really stands out here. There's just a lot of really cool stuff. Even, like I mentioned, in the wilderness and stuff, he's just playing different drum fills between the bars. Like, just fucking awesome. Like, just really, really cool stuff. I'm ready to rate From Mars to Sirius if you are.
Yeah, let's rate it.
So this is a pretty solid album for beginning to end. I wouldn't say it's a perfect album. Perfect is really, really hard to come by. Oh, that's really hard to come by. But this is an album full of really good songs with a bunch of really great songs as well. And I'm happy to say that it gets my toe tag. I think I really didn't expect anything less, because like I said, I listened to the album a few years ago and I remember really liking it, and I was pretty much expecting that feeling to translate through the review, and it did. And I didn't get bored of it, even though I kind of was worried about that a little bit. The album was just super enjoyable to listen to. I listened to it as much as I possibly could, and I enjoyed it every single time. So it's easily a toe tag album for me, and good job to Gojira. They are, well, potentially going to be on there twice unless TV Fish surprises me.
Well, like I said, this is not my favorite Gojira album. And listening to this album again throughout the week, I'm like, yeah, I can see why. And, you know, out of those 3 albums, it might be my least favorite of the 3. But that bar is in outer space, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This album is still great. It has a lot of songs that grip you, and even the ones that don't are still good songs. There's not much on this album that stains it. It's just either great or like good.
Yeah.
It gets my toe tag as well.
There you go. From Mars to Sirius, a toe tag album being added to the list. That means Gojira is on the list twice. And there are several bands that are on the list twice, but it's still a pretty awesome feat.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit of a shame that they're not on there 3 times because of half a point, but...
Half a point away.
Would they have been the first one for 3? I don't think we have any bands on there that are on there 3 times.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But, I mean, we're going back to 2020 or something like that now. 42
oh, wait, no. Slipknot.
Slipknot's on there 3 times.
Self-titled Iowa and Wannick.
That's right. True.
I think they might be the only one.
Okay. Well, either way, guys, Gojira's on the list twice, and we want to know from you what your favorite Gojira albums are. What do you think of our thoughts and opinions on From Mars to Sirius? Let us know in the comments down below, and let us know anything else you want to talk about metal-wise. Always sound off down there. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
I'll see you guys on the next one. Keep those heads banging.